A lot of us go through life really not sure of what we're doing, not being mindful about what it is that we're doing. I'm excited to introduce our next guest, Sophie Teixeira. We're going to be talking about mindfulness in the form of nutrition. Please stick around. You're going to want to hear this. In life and in business, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of things to be aware of. And you know what? Mindfulness is something that I think that it kind of escapes a lot of us in different areas in our lives. My name is Linda Sunshine West. I'm the founder and CEO of Action Takers Publishing. Before we get started with this interview, please head on over to YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook and follow us over there. We are Action Takers Publishing. I'm going to bring up one of our authors, Sophie Teixeira. Sophie, it's good to see you today. How's everything going?
Hi, Linda. Oh, it's very sunny here. I'm in Miami. How are you?
I'm doing really well, doing well. This mindful piece, I wanted to start with this because, your business name is, Root Mindful Nutrition. And I just want to get to the root of it. You like that plan? Let's get to the root of it. Mindfulness, because, why did you decide, first of all, why did you decide to call it Root Mindful Nutrition? Because that word mindfulness is something I think that escapes us a lot. We're kind of like living robotic lives, just doing what we're told or what we think we need to do.
What our family used to do, we go with blindfolds and keep doing the same things and not stopping. I think the first thing from being mindful is you stop and you're conscious of what you're about to do. I always use that example for whenever I deal with clients who have cravings. You have a cravings, you want to reach for that chocolate. Stop. You might end up with the chocolate, but stop. Think, am I hungry? Am I angry? Do I have anything is it emotional, or I am truly physically hungry? And if so, do I really want to decide to go for it? So being mindful we eat 3 times a day for the rest of our lives. This is an important part of our life. Some of us like cooking, some of us don't like cooking, and it's absolutely fine. But being mindful of what you put in your mouth on a daily basis and the effect it has on the way you think, on the way you digest, on the way you sleep, on the way you have energy or not. This is so important to me, and I became mindful of it when I started to go through my own health issues. And why root? Because when 5 years ago I was at the bottom of my health. I'm now 42. I was at the time 36, 37, and I was drowning. Everything, I was overwhelmed. I was doing too much at the same time, dealing with too much. And my health went downhill, and I realized later that I had hypothyroidism, like all the women in my family, and I never dealt with it. Backing up a little bit, I started studying nutrition through a very well-known sort of academy. It's called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And this really changed my life, because wanting to go almost to the root causes of my health issues helped me. But I'm telling you, in a month and a half, 2 months, I started seeing so many positive changes in my life that at this time, I was doing it for myself. At this time, I realized I wanted to share it with other women. And this is when I started Root Mindful Nutrition. Also, the podcast Goop, of Gwyneth Paltrow. At the time, I was listening a lot to her podcast, and she explained one day how she found Goop, because Gwyneth Paltrow and then double O, a bit like Google, or all these very short names. And for me, my husband happens to be called Rodrigo Teixeira. And root, going back to the root cause, so ROOT. This all came together very nicely. It created a very long name, but I wouldn't go back. And this has been working very well.
I love it. So your husband is part of your business.
He's part of my life. He's one of the reasons why I became who I am today, for sure.
Mm-hmm. He's the root, right?
He's my root. He's my rock.
I love that. You mentioned a couple things here, hypothyroidism,
Mm-hmm.
the questions to ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I angry? And why do we do this? Like, let's go to the hungry, angry questions and, any other questions that we might stop to ask. Why is it important for us to stop before we grab that candy bar or chocolate or whatever?
It's important to make mindful decisions. The reason why we do that, we use food as soothing mechanism, can come from many different causes. One, you're not sleeping enough. When you're not sleeping enough, two of your hormones go out of whack, many more, but two of them, the leptin, which is the signal to your brain that you're satisfied and you're not hungry anymore. The leptin is levels are decreased. When you don't sleep, they're decreased sometimes by 20%. And the ghrelin, which is the opposite or hormone, the hormone that tells your brain, I'm hungry, I need food, this goes up by 20%. So you're not helped. It's not, and this is what I need people to understand. It's not you. It's not because you're weak, or it's because there are things that you need to change in your daily habits in order for it to become easier to resist this. It's not about, if you try to resist the temptation, you might succeed a few days, but one day you'll crash. We're not that strong. What needs to be done is paying attention, prioritizing more the things that are at the root cause. So getting your sleep on track. And I know it's hard for someone to understand. I've been a bad sleeper, and I hated hearing you need to sleep more. I'm like, I can't sleep. I wake up at night. But there are things to put in place to prioritize more your sleep. And then your microbiome, your cell gets better. Your cell renewal starts provoking in you more goodness, if you will, more energy in the morning, starting to more hormonal balance. Your cortisol, when you don't sleep, which is supposed to be high in the morning, is very low. So you wake up extremely tired, which is what I went through. And then normally, slowly, your cortisol goes down so that you're more tired in the evening, like the sun. You live with the sun. When you're stressed or sleep deprived, this is the contrary. So you wake up very, very tired, and then you have peaks of cortisol. And sometimes at 11 at night, when you're ready to sleep, you're not ready anymore because you're very, very high, very in your mind. There are many things. For me, nutrition is the core, but it's not the only important part. Okay, it's how you relations are going, how you sleep, how you exercise, everything. And it's all a connection. This is why it's called holistic medicine or holistic coaching, is that you take your body as a whole and you understand how everything is interconnected. And this is when it becomes very, very, very nice, and it becomes easier and easier. But if you want to treat one thing separately, if you want to stop having cravings, because we were talking about that, you have to look at the way you live in general, what you do when you wake up until what you do till you go to bed. And my thing is little changes, change little habits, 2-3 at a time until they become your new routine, and then add on. Because I can give you a list of 200 things that you need to do to feel better. You'll never go through that. It's not sustainable. What is sustainable is understanding that it takes time. There's no magic pill. You won't find a magic diet that will make you lose weight. You won't find a pill that will make you sleep well. It's putting together little things, little new daily habits, and giving yourself time and permission to fail in order to slowly get better. And one day you'll have the energy that you never thought you could have again. And I'm 42 and I've never felt as good.
I love this. There's so many things that you're bringing up here, talking about the hormonal imbalances, and looking at the way we live, and changing just one habit. One habit is like the habit. So for me, this is a habit that I'm instituting actually last week. I started to institute, and that is to be mindful before I pick up any food. So it's interesting. I'm interviewing you today after I started it about a week ago. Well, it's not going as well as I.
When you say mindful before.
Sorry. Yeah, so exactly what you said. It's not, I did write down those questions, like, am I hungry? Do I really want to eat this? Is this going to serve my body? Like, is this going to be healthy for me if I eat this right now? But and just like you said, I might still eat the thing, but at least I'm stopping to think about it. And that's something I've never done before. Like, I would just grab and eat, grab and eat. And so I might still eat the thing. And then I'm not mad at myself for doing it. So I'm not beating myself up if I eat the thing that I probably know that I shouldn't say probably, that I know I shouldn't be eating right now or whatever. And so it's interesting, just even just being mindful. That's a new habit. That's a new habit right there.
It's very, very good, and I can't wait to hear where you're at in a month, or when it becomes part of your life naturally. And another good thing, because I'm not asking anyone to give up on desserts or anything, to slowly lower the amount of sugar in your daily nutrition is very important. But it doesn't mean that you can't have a piece of cake or something. But it's planning it. So you have a specific night out with the girls. You plan that you can have these drinks. It's full of sugar, but it's one way to have a good time. And if it's not every day, it's fine. And same for a dessert. You plan to I'll have it with the kids at 4 p.m. because there's a birthday party. I'll enjoy it. And trust me, if you enjoy it, because it's rare as well, if we don't enjoy the same thing when they're so available every day, you'll enjoy it even more. And then there is this, and this is my job as a nutrition coach, there is this then approach of, instead of this, I'll do this. So I'll still eat, but I'll choose this. And then it's the chef approach of having easy food preps that you can easily grab in the fridge. The terror is you open the fridge or you open the pantry, you grab something that is already available. My coaching is to teach women to prepare on Sundays, when it's convenient for them, some little things that are treats, but that are also very nourishing and that are the nice swap for their cravings. We don't have all the same cravings. Some of them is chocolate, some of them is ice cream, some of them is whatever. There's always a nicer, and then it starts with a swap that is very close, and then slowly, the less sugar you put in your body, the less sugar you will crave. The more you sleep, the less sugar you will crave. It's crazy how the body is done.
Do you know the hours of sleep? Because you mentioned sleep a couple times. And how do we know how many hours of sleep our body needs?
I can't tell you. I know that I need at least 8 hours, and it's a lot. My husband needs 6-7 hours of sleep, and he sleeps like a baby. And he drinks coffee, 2 or 3. I had to quit coffee 5 years ago when I went through this whole holistic change. I realized that it was worth trying the life without the coffee because of everything I had heard. Some people are good with coffee, some people aren't. And there's a 12-hour release of some of the caffeine, which means that even if you have it after lunch, 2:00, we say it's fine. I was being troubled at night because of that. I quit completely, replaced it, always replace it with something else that comforts you. Always have this. Some mushroom teas or whatever works for you. And I can tell you my sleep, the depth of my sleep increased tremendously. Doesn't mean that sometimes when I'm troubled, I still have a very active mind at night. Doesn't mean that it sometimes doesn't happen, but I know first not to be scared of it, not to fear it when it happens, because sometimes the fear of waking up at 3 and not going back to sleep is what keeps you awake. So I don't have that. I have tools to be mindful and to get back to sleep, to almost coach myself back to sleep. So I don't fear that anymore. And I also know that whatever night we had, we can thrive the next day. We will.
I love that. So there's a lot to think about. Like you said, a list of 200 things, so start with the first one. Do you by any chance have a list that people can download, that list?
A list of 10 things?
Or no, did you say 200 things? Like
no, that was no. And 200 is overwhelming. I will never send a list to anyone of 200 things. No.
Do you have a list of 10 things? Do you have a list?
I have a list of 10. I have a list of 20. I have a list of 5. This is how it works. People want the top 5, the top 10. No, but in all seriousness, if we only talk nutrition, I would say that the amount of fiber is essential. We live in a world where people are overfed and undernourished. This is mainly due to the highly processed food that we have. It's no news to anyone. And yes, they taste amazing. So it's about adding. They have zero fiber. The fiber is what keeps you regular, is what nourishes you, and it's what creates good gut bacteria. So that in turn you think better, you have more energy. I'm sorry about the sound. So the amount of fiber, we say normally 30 grams of fiber. The fiber comes from it's often related to carbs, right? The carbs, but it comes from the whole foods. So it comes from your fruit, your vegetables, your grains, your nuts and seeds and everything. So add more of this into your life and learn to make it taste good. It's also about the protein. I often see women who want to lose weight go completely vegetarian. I think a plant-rich diet is the best diet to me. I think that sometimes, especially us as women, if we go fully vegetarian, we might be losing some of those important amino acids. I know there's a big debate. I'm not going to go there, but I'm happy to develop any other time. So the lack of protein and the right source of protein, something clean and something truly nourishing. It's also very satiating. So when you're on a mission to lose weight, adding that piece of boiled chicken, organic, no antibiotic, no hormones in it, adding some chickpeas or lentils, all this that are rich in protein will help you feel fuller for longer. So it's a part of the process. So protein, fiber, healthy fats, and we go back to the 3 macronutrients, but it's about the right one. So healthy fats from avocado, coconut, from the nuts, from the fatty fish, and all these sardines and things. So all of this to be mindful again of creating at every meal. We've been talking in the morning, breakfast, at every meal, something that is nutrient dense and complete in order for your blood sugar not to go to the up and down all the time. I think this is something that people need to understand. We live in a life where everything that's very sugary and without fibers brings up our blood sugar up and then down, and we have a crash and feel more tired and more hungry and then back up. And if we manage to eat with that good amount of, with a plate that is colorful, that is rich in whole foods and that also tastes delicious, because otherwise it's never sustainable, then we'll have a better, we'll lose weight, we'll have more energy, all of this will go, then we'll sleep better. I would say that you can't exercise your way out of a bad diet. Exercise is a key player in your health. And I personally, when I wake up, I do 30 minutes of exercise. And this is my way also to stay sane. I know that it's good for my energy, for my whenever I feel bad thoughts or anything, I just go out and I walk. And so exercise is important. We don't want to stay sedentary, and there's so many people who stay seated all day. And just think, some people think that by exercising a lot, they can continue to eat the crap that they eat. It's not working for anyone. First, very simply, because exercise makes you more hungry. So you then have to reach for, not all calories are created equal. You've heard that before, and it's really true. So being mindful of the way you do your grocery shopping, and then following, I guess I need to, I know we don't have a lot of time, but my point is to have a strong why. Why? What is it that you're looking for? Is it lose weight? Or what are you tired? You have to really want badly to feel good. Once you don't have this, it's likely that you will give up. You know, I've heard so many people say, "Oh no, I'm not going to give up on wine. Oh no, I'm not going to give up on coffee." Okay, but so you're not really willing to change it. When you know why you want to change. For me, it was I was waking up so tired. I had no energy. I was like, I wasn't recognizing myself. Plus, I couldn't I quit smoking at the same time. I used to be a smoker because I couldn't sing. Every cigarette I would smoke would kill my voice, and I love singing. So you just have to find your reason. You find your why, and then find help. A little guide. It could be in any form. I have this. I created this for people who want to start eating healthy for 5 days. It's called the Reset Meal Plan. You just go download it. It's a full grocery list. It has lots of superfoods in there, and you eat 3 times a day, a smoothie for breakfast, a nutrient-dense bowl for lunch that is delicious and very varied, and then a soup, but not a bland soup. Soup is boring, right? None of my soups are boring. You will love making soup. And all of this is doable in 15 minutes each. So you don't, I understand that we're all busy women and we don't have time to cook. I happen to enjoy that a lot. This is my happy place, but not everybody is like this. So I wanted to create something that is simple. And I've seen so many recipe books or diet books where the recipes, half of them I'll never make again. First, they don't taste good. So I can promise you that in this Reset Meal Plan for 5 days, or I have a longer one for 3 weeks, never the weekend. You do what you want for the weekend. You try to stay not off track too much, but Monday to Friday or Sunday to Thursday, you just have a healthier lifestyle. And then from that, when you see the changes, you will never want to go back to that. Doesn't mean you can't have your little piece of chocolate or anything every now and then, but it's what you do 80% of the time that matters, not what you do one day, you know.
Oh, okay. I love this. And where can we get that Reset Meal Plan? Is that at root-mindfulnutrition.com?
Yes, /reset plan, I think. But if you click on there, you'll see the ebook. There's 2 types, and
Okay.
It doesn't cost much. It really, I've had a lot of women come back to me and say, I've shared it with, it's always recipes for 2. So it's nice to have support. If you have a husband, if you have a friend that you want to do it with, then you cook for 2. And it's my goal is to make people understand that dieting is not boring. You know, you can change the way you eat in a way that is delicious. And I'm also a chef. So this is why I'm now putting together my hat of a nutrition and health coach and an executive chef together to create things that are sustainable. Because we all know, we've all tried diets. They're not sustainable. You always gain back the weight. Yeah. It's just changing a bit the way that you eat.
Well, in Garfield, the cartoon says diet is die with a T. So.
Anyway, I didn't know that one. I really don't know diets.
I'm going to switch real quick to our book, Unstoppable, Female Entrepreneurs Living Fearlessly. Your chapter in that book is Finding My Roots, A Journey of Entrepreneurship. I think you talked a lot about that already. And so what I would love to know, Sophie, first of all, if you want to connect with Sophie, please go to her website, root-mindfulnutrition.com. Go get that reset plan. I'm going to go get mine. I'm excited to do it.
Try it and tell me.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things I like everything you were mentioning, but one of the things that really stuck with me was you said you could do the meal plan for 5 days and then the other 2 days. It's not about deprivation. It's not about deprivation at all. No. It's about
you won't be hungry. You will be maybe just that little, but enough to keep you going, but you won't be hungry. There's a lot of nutrients in this.
Yeah, because that's what's missing is our nutrients in our food. And so, right, when you go eat fast food and stuff like that, it's a lot of nutrients are missing, and that's why you get hungry.
That's why you're hungry 2 hours later.
You're always hungry, yeah. And you're not really hungry. That's the thing, right? Because then you're not being mindful about asking yourself, am I really hungry? It's just probably like what cravings are happening or something's happening within your body that's telling you want to eat something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So in this book, Unstoppable, you can get your copy of the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/unstoppable. You read Sophie's story as well as other stories of women who are unstoppable and they're living that fearless life. So Sophie, what is one thing that you would like readers to take away from reading your chapter or the book in the Unstoppable?
I think that no life is easy throughout. And I think the moment I learned the most, the moment I became who I am now, were the worst moments in my life, the moment of crisis, the moment of health crisis, marriage crisis, all these, don't flee them. Is that English? Don't try to avoid them. They are what will make you stronger. They are what will make you unstoppable, because you will learn so much. You will cry. You will think that it's the end. You will think that, but there's always something good that comes. And I don't know if it's I think it's a very positive way to end this. I think that there's no happy life ever after for, this. We all go through things. And as women, we have a lot of mental charge on our shoulders. But this is what I would say, the community around you, especially as a woman, is what helps you grow. And the opportunities, being constantly having faith that things will turn around, and never stop acting on them, never stop getting things done, and planning new projects and things, because it all comes. I feel I had several lives, and today I feel aligned. I feel where I'm supposed to be, and I'm about to start a life a life as a private health chef in Miami, and I could not be any happier.
Oh, fantastic. I love it. You are unstoppable. Go out and get your copy of the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/unstoppable. And Sophie, thanks so much for being here. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you,
Everything you're
Linda.
doing. I got a whole page and a half of notes from this interview.
Act on them.
And I'm assuming you're available for people if they want to bring you on to their own shows as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I love doing this.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you, Linda.
reach out to her again at root-mindfulnutrition.com. And thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
One of the things that I've personally found from my experience of working with Action Takers Publishing is that I've walked away with more friends than I had before, because of the relationship that you build with the authors while working in an anthology. I think it's an amazing project to be able to get published. It's a fantastic way to get published the first time, and I've almost seen people who get hooked on doing anthologies, because once that bug is bitten, you feel like you can release more and more and more and more stories, and Linda's got a bunch of titles that I think resonates with a lot of us who live in the real world.